A shivering homeless man finds an envelope stuffed with 1,000 euros. Instead of keeping it, he walks miles to return it. What happens next? Changes an entire town forever.
A tired homeless man sits beneath a dim street lamp, clutching his thin jacket as cold wind pushes against him, unaware his life is about to shift in an unimaginable way. He spots a torn envelope half hidden beneath a bench. Curiosity pulling him closer as he reaches for it with trembling, dirt-covered fingers, hoping it's something useful. The envelope feels heavier than paper, and when he opens it slightly, his breath freezes. Neatly stacked bills worth 1,000 euros stare back at him like a miracle. His heartbeat thunders, but the joy doesn't last. Guilt creeps in as he wonders who might be devastated right now, desperately searching for this lost money. He closes the envelope, whispering to himself that he can't keep what isn't his. Even though hunger and cold claw into his bones every single day, he rises slowly, walking toward the town center, hoping someone reported missing money, telling himself doing the right thing matters even when life's been cruel. At a small cafe window, people laugh warmly inside. He watches them, envelope pressed tightly against his chest, before continuing his lonely mission through the chilly morning. He enters a police station hesitantly, afraid they might suspect him of stealing, but determined to do the honorable thing society never expects from someone like him. The officer at the desk looks surprised when he explains he found money, speaking softly yet firmly, refusing to accept even a hint of reward or praise. They ask where he discovered it, and he describes the bench carefully, hands shaking as the warmth of the station reminds him how cold he has always been. Another officer checks reports, discovering a woman filed a missing money claim earlier, describing the exact envelope the homeless man found and returned without hesitation. They ask him to wait so they can contact her. He nods quietly and steps aside, choosing a corner seat, hoping he did the right thing. Minutes later, a breathless woman rushes in, worry creasing her face until she sees the envelope, tears filling her eyes as relief washes over her completely. She turns to him, stunned that he returned something so valuable, asking how she can repay him, but he simply smiles, saying kindness is enough for him. Her expression softens. She notices his thin clothes, the exhaustion in his eyes, realizing he needed the money far more than she ever could imagine for herself. She insists he waits, pulling the officer aside, whispering something urgently that makes them glance toward him with a mix of admiration and concern. The woman approaches again, thanking him deeply, offering part of the money, but he declines politely, repeating that doing what's right matters more than comfort or reward. She asks if he has a safe place to stay. He shakes his head gently, a small embarrassment flickering across his tired, weathered features shaped by hardship. She steps outside, makes a phone call, glancing back at him through the window with determination as if planning something bigger than he can imagine. Meanwhile, he exits the station quietly, not wanting to be a burden. Wandering toward the riverside path where he usually rests beneath an abandoned bridge, the cold intensifies and he curls inside his worn blanket, trying to sleep, unaware that someone's searching the streets to bring him life-changing news. The woman returns to the police station, shocked to find him gone, immediately setting out to look for him through parks, alleys, and dim corners of town. She spots him near the river, illuminated by moonlight, struggling with the freezing air. She approaches gently, afraid he might distance himself again. He wakes to her calling his name softly, surprised anyone remembered him, let alone returned to find him with genuine concern shining in their expression. She explained she contacted a nearby shelter with open beds and arranged assistance, insisting he shouldn't refuse a chance to rebuild after showing such goodness. He hesitates, thinking he doesn't deserve help. But she reassures him that kindness deserves kindness, and everyone deserves a second chance to start fresh. They walk together toward the shelter, the city lights glowing warmly across wet pavement as if guiding him toward a life he didn't think possible anymore. At the shelter entrance, workers greet him warmly, offering a hot meal and clean clothes, treating him not as a burden but as a human being. He sits with other residents, eating slowly, savoring real warmth for the first time in months. Feeling unfamiliar hope settle inside his chest like a spark, the woman sits nearby, watching him quietly, moved by how someone with so little can still choose to do what's right when no one is watching. She asks about his past, and he shares how he lost everything after a series of unfortunate events, sleeping in alleyways while fighting every day to survive. She listens attentively, never judging him, offering compassion he hasn't felt in years, reminding him that dignity isn't tied to wealth but to character. Staff provide him clean clothes, and when he returns from the restroom, the mirror barely recognizes him less broken, more human, more hopeful for tomorrow. The woman suggests visiting a local community center that helps people find work, promising to accompany him if he feels uncertain about taking that step. He nods hesitantly, both grateful and overwhelmed, realizing someone finally believes he's worthy of opportunity after years of being invisible to the world around him. The next morning, they walk together toward the center, sunlight breaking through clouds as if symbolizing the beginning of a new chapter in his life. Counselors listen to his story and offer guidance, impressed by his honesty and resilience. They see potential in him where others saw nothing but misfortune. He fills out forms slowly, nervous yet determined, fingers trembling as he signs his name for the first time in years on something filled with hope. They arrange training sessions and temporary work programs, encouraging him to show up daily. He promises sincerely, feeling committed to proving himself worthy. Days pass, and he attends every session, learning new skills, gaining confidence, and feeling his spirit revive after so much darkness weighed down his past. The woman stops by often, bringing small treats or simply checking on him. Her kindness becomes a lifeline he never expected nor knew how to repay. He tells her he found the envelope because he was meant to help someone, not himself. She smiles, saying perhaps it was meant to help him too. Weeks later, he lands a part-time job at a warehouse, earning his first paycheck in years, feeling pride swell inside him like something long forgotten. He buys warm clothes with his earnings, no longer relying on donations, standing taller with every passing day as he rebuilds the life he once lost. The woman continues cheering him on, watching him transform from a man surviving the streets to someone holding on to genuine hope and ambition for a better future. Eventually, he saves enough to rent a small room, humble but safe, stepping inside with tears of gratitude, remembering the night he gave back the money. He sits on his new bed, gripping the blanket tightly, feeling the surreal peace of having a place where he belongs, no longer exposed to harsh streets. The woman visits, shocked and happy to see him thriving. They celebrate with simple tea, acknowledging how one honest act changed two lives forever. He thanks her again for believing in him, but she insists he earned everything through integrity, courage, and choosing compassion over desperation when it mattered most. News of his story spreads after the woman shares it online, inspiring thousands who are moved by how kindness and honesty can survive even the hardest circumstances. People begin donating to the shelter, motivated by his story, providing food, blankets, and volunteer hours, proving one action can ignite community-wide compassion. Journalists reach out wanting interviews, but he politely declines, wishing to stay humble, saying the real story is about kindness, not fame or attention. The shelter director surprises him with a framed certificate honoring his honesty, while residents clap proudly for the man who once believed he was nobody. He hangs the certificate on his wall, looking at it before sleeping, tears forming as he realizes someone finally sees his worth after years of invisibility. The woman invites him for dinner with her family, and though nervous, he accepts, feeling touched that someone wants him included in their lives meaningfully. Her family welcomes him warmly, making space at their table, asking about his dreams, treating him as a guest of honor rather than a man once homeless. He shares his hopes to help others who feel lost, reminding them that kindness still exists and that one good choice can change an entire life path. The woman's father offers part-time work at a shop, believing in giving second chances. He gratefully agrees, ready to continue improving his life further. Months pass, and he becomes known in town as a symbol of honesty, with people greeting him kindly, recognizing how compassion can transform even the deepest struggles. He volunteers at the shelter, serving meals to others who remind him of where he once stood, offering them hope through his story and warm encouragement. Many residents ask how he stayed honest despite having nothing. He tells them integrity is something no hardship can ever take away if you hold on tightly. The woman watches him proudly as he speaks to them, seeing the strength in his voice. Grateful she followed her heart that day, he returned the envelope. One evening, they walk along the riverside path where she first found him, now peaceful and warm, reflecting on how far he's come since that cold night. He thanks her again, voice steady, saying her compassion saved his life. She smiles, insisting his honesty saved his own. She only helped him walk forward. The moonlight reflects on the water as he tells her he wants to dedicate his future to helping people who feel forgotten, just like he once did. She promises to support him, knowing he now carries a strength capable of lifting others who struggle silently like he once did every night. He starts attending community meetings about outreach programs, sharing ideas, volunteering his time, determined to give back as much as he once needed help. Local leaders admire his persistence, seeing in him a valuable voice who understands hardship firsthand and can inspire real change with empathy and lived experience. He becomes an advocate for struggling individuals, sharing his story when needed, always humbly, always focused on reminding people that hope can bloom anywhere. The woman stands by him at events, proud of the man he's become, grateful for the unexpected bond formed the day he chose integrity over survival. One afternoon, he holds a small meeting for newcomers at the shelter, encouraging them to stay strong, promising that transformation begins the moment they believe change is possible. He shares how a simple lost envelope turned into the blessing that helped rebuild his entire life. when he decided to choose honesty over desperation. People listened intently, moved by his authenticity, realizing he speaks not as a hero but as someone who fought darkness and learned to rise again. He continues volunteering weekly, bringing warmth, understanding, and guidance, determined to ensure others feel seen, never abandoned like he once felt himself. The woman occasionally reminds him he didn't just return 1,000 euros, he restored faith in humanity, proving goodness still thrives even in people society overlooks. He smiles whenever she says that, still humbled, believing he merely did what any person should do when faced with a choice between right and wrong. The community eventually celebrates him at a town event, applauding his journey from homelessness to advocacy, honoring him with a plaque for exceptional integrity. He accepts with tears in his eyes, telling the crowd the true reward is watching others find hope again. Because everyone deserves a chance to rise. The woman stands beside him, squeezing his shoulder, both knowing their lives intertwined through one moment of honesty that changed everything for them. As the sun sets, he walks home with steady steps, carrying not money or possessions, but newfound dignity, purpose, and faith in a world that finally embraced him.